Yo, what's up, guys? We're back with another UFC prediction video for the UFC fight cut 310. Alexandre Pantoja against Asakura for the flyweight champion. Las Vegas, Nevada, T-Mobile Arena. We got 14 fights on the card, no women fights. I mean, this is with the Kobe Covington versus Buckley. This is the last fight on the for this year. So we have huge expectation, especially 2 weeks off. I hope the card will bring it. Yeah, Kennedy and Nzechukwu against Lukasz Brzeski. We got Nzechukwu by first round knockout. I mean, Brzeski is like, without the win against Walter Walker, he has like 5 losses in the UFC. He's not on the UFC level. Kennedy beat Ulberg, he knocked him out, and he has knockout abilities. I mean, he even looks like the bigger guy, even if this is in heavyweight, and he's a former light heavyweight fighter. So yeah, we got Kennedy by first round knockout. Next on the card is Guida against Chase Hooper. I mean, it's winter, so my throat is a little bit playing right now, so I try to make it fast, especially by 40 fights. So yeah, Guida against Chase Hooper. We got Chase Hooper by second round submission. I mean, he should win the fight. If not, both of them gotta be released. I mean, this should be the last fight of Guida. He's like 0-2 in the last 2 fights, and he's 42 years old. I mean, this gotta be the last. And Chase Hooper gets better every time. He has some losses on his record, but yeah. Triangle choke, second round. I thought about rear naked choke, but let's go with triangle choke. Yeah, one thing about Guida, because this is probably his last fight. I mean, I have something against him when he beat Anthony Pettis, because Anthony Pettis at the time was my man. I looked up to him. So, yeah, I have this always in my mind. Yeah, next on the card is Michael Chiesa against Max Griffin. We got Michael Chiesa, second round submission. I don't know why I have something also towards against Michael Chiesa, like Anthony Smith. I see them both because maybe they're both commentators and they just talk a lot BS. But he showed in his last fight against Tony Ferguson he has the will to win the fight, and I love to see that. So I see a second round submission, just take him down and finish him. For Max Griffin, I remember his finish against Ramesh Brahimai. This nasty elbow and cut the ear and everything. Nasty, but you know, he will get taken down and finish in the first round. Also by Max Griffin, he's not just like on a free fight losing streak. He even has the last win in his last fight. So, gotta be interesting. Cody Durden against Joshua 1. Last fight on the early prelims. We got Joshua 1 by decision. Maybe he will win the fights just by knockdowns. I believe he will knock him down 1 or 2 times, and the rest of the fight is just scrappy. Back and forth. Last round, both will gas out. So, will be funny to see that. Yeah, Chris Weidman against Eryk Anders. I mean, this is crazy. To this fight, I mean, you will see a lot of fighters not in the main card, and guys from the main card who should never be in the main card right now on the UFC pay-per-view. But yeah, interesting. Chris Weidman against Eryk Anders. We got Chris Weidman by decision. Former middleweight champion. Beat Anderson Silva 2 times in a row. Finished him. When I saw that as a kid, I was like, this is like my best fight. And I was a huge Chris Weidman fan. Still is. So I hope he got a finish, especially from the last time Eryk Anders pulling out. In the last second though. That's harsh. Randy Brown against Bryan Battle. We got Bryan Battle by third round TKO. I mean, the first 2 rounds will be interesting. Also a back and forth. A lot from Randy Brown. He uses the advantage of his long arms and he's tall, but you know, he can get catched. And I believe Bryan Battle is such a good kickboxer. I mean, I love his stand-up, even his Muay Thai. So yeah, maybe the third round will be like similar from Bryan Battle against the French guy in the last fight. Just, you know, pulling a combo on him in the last round and finish him. Yeah, but I like Randy Brown. He's good though. Movsar against Aljamain Sterling. We got Movsar by second round TKO. I mean, a lot of guys will go by decision, and a lot of guys will definitely pick Movsar. But I believe Evloev needs to finish. You know, he knows everybody's watching him on the finish, especially with the Beatles hair he has right now. The fight will be stand up. You know, both guys will not have a grappling session. I believe that because we see it most of the times. If 2 grapplers fight, it will be a stand up fight. So second round TKO, he can catch him. If Arnold Allen didn't have such a good chin, he will be knocked out in the fight against Evloev. But yeah, Sterling can get knocked out. We saw it many times. Marlon Moraes, Sean O'Malley. So yeah, Zabit Magomedov if somebody knows what I'm talking about. But yeah, next in the card is Vicente Luque against Themba Gorimbo. Themba Gorimbo by decision. I will definitely go with Vicente Luque, but one thing is missing: his heart. He doesn't have the Michael Chiesa heart right now. Doesn't have the will to win fights. We saw it especially against Belal Muhammad. So yeah, Themba Gorimbo by decision. People call it a boring fight nowadays, so this will probably be a boring fight. Against the fans, clinching, maybe even a takedown. Maybe you can even knock him out, but I believe this will be like the classical boring fight, they say. But yeah, Themba Gorimbo has the will to win fights, and that's important. He knows how to win, and he will win the fight by decision. Anthony Smith against Dominick Reyes, the last fight before the main card. We got Dominick Reyes by second round knockout. I mean, we are all happy to see that, to see Dominick Reyes back, and we will be more happy to see him knock out Anthony Smith. This will be one of the best things on the card. And yeah, Dominick Reyes, the guy who probably beat John Jones on the scorecards for many people, for many judges outside of the night of the UFC. Like, I don't remember who was the three judges on the fight. We gotta look it up, but every other judge had it for Dominick Reyes. So yeah, man, we are happy to see him back right now. So we got now to the main event. We got Nate Landwehr against Choi. I mean, who expected that to be on the main card, the opening main card? And after that, I'm so angry about the next fight. But yeah, we got third round TKO for Choi. Nate Landwehr is, of course, it's cool to see him. He's always like fun and his aggressiveness. But I believe he will gas out in the third round and get catched by Choi, who has knockout power. His chin is good from Nate. We saw it against David Onama, but I believe this time he will get catched. Bryce Mitchell against Kron Gracie. I mean, why is Kron Gracie on the card? Or let's say why he is especially on the main card. I mean, he doesn't deserve it at all. Of course, he has the name Gracie. Merab will be angry about the names, but yeah, Bryce Mitchell by decision. He's the better fighter. I don't care about anything. Yes, he got knocked out by Josh Emmett, finished by Topuria. Besides that, I'm very hard on Bryce Mitchell, the first guy who has his own shorts. I mean, the redneck fighter, he gotta have the decision against Kron Gracie, maybe even a finish, maybe even a knockout. To be honest, I mean, if this fight was 2 or 3 years ago, would be interesting, or maybe even 5 years ago, would be interesting to see him against a Gracie, Bryce Mitchell, because he has the twisted submission. He has some good submissions, but right now I don't see why Kron Gracie should win the fight, especially if this fight is stand-up. I can see even Gracie laying down on the floor for the whole round. Yeah, next on the card is Ciryl Gane against Alex Volkov. The second fight. First fight was Ciryl Gane winning by decision. I have now Volkov by TKO in the second round. And to be honest, Ciryl Gane is not a top 5 fighter. I know people will go crazy. Some people will say I'm right. But he is not a top 5 fighter because he doesn't have the heart everybody has. In this heavyweight division, for example, Blades has a heart in my opinion. Tom Aspinall, John Jones, Pavlovich, all these guys have this aggressiveness. He doesn't have it. And if a guy like Volkov does his style, in the first fight he never did his style, I don't know what was wrong with him, maybe the game plan or something. But right now Volkov knows, especially after his win against Pavlovich, he doesn't need to be scared or something. Just go in and smash him, like beat him up. Of course, Gane, his stand-up is very great. He's one of the best stand-up fighters in the division. Maybe even in the UFC. He defended a lot of the punches from Ngannou. It's tough. It's tough, to be honest, to go such easy against Gane. But after his last performance against Jones, he has the last win against, I believe, Sergey Spivak or something. But I have the John Jones in my head, and I was so disappointed just by him giving up so early. So I believe Volkov knows that he can just break him and he will knock him out. Shavkat Rakhmonov against Ian Gary, co-main event. We got Ian Gary by decision. Outside of the UFC, outside of fighting, Ian Gary is the most trash guy you'll ever see. just everything from him. Even his voice is horrible. But inside the cage, he's one of the best. He's one of the best welterweights, and he knows how to win fights. So I have him by decision. Shavkat Rakhmonov is one of the best finishers in UFC. 18-0, all finishes. Angary is 15-0 with 3 decisions in his last fights. I believe this will go 3 rounds, and Angary by decision. Can Rakhmonov knock him out? I don't think he will catch him. Can he take him down and submit him? I don't see that too. So Angary by decision. Yeah, main event. Alexandre Pantoja against Kai Asakura. We got Kai Asakura by knockout in the 3rd round. I mean, if this was every other fighter, I would go easily by Alex Pantoja, just because he's the best right now. I believe he's the best flyweight of all time. Yes, come at me with Mighty Mouse, with Demetrius Johnson. But Alex Pantoja showed he's the best right now. How can I go against him? Only thing is, everybody can get catched. And I have Kamaru Usman against Leon Edwards 2 in my head. I have Volkov against Derek Lewis. So many fights where the better fighter, Pantoja, is definitely better than Kai Sakura, can get catched. And I believe if we want Pantoja to lose a fight, he needs to be catched. And I believe Asakura can knock him out in the 3rd round. He's a brawler. Maybe he will catch him by a hook or something. Maybe the knee, the brutal knee he has. And yeah, I saw his takedown defense against Merab, and it was great. So I believe he will stuff the takedowns in the 2 rounds. Maybe get taken down and survive. But in the 3rd round, Pantoja will gas out, and Kai Sakura, the new flyweight champion, in his debut though.